the preacher in Konya, Provincial Directorate, Murat Eroglu. He is going to talk about the duties of Imaratul Hajj as part of the manager of Pilgrims. Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much, distinguished academicians. Thank you very much, dear viewers. Today I would like to talk about the duties of Imaratul Hajj as the managers of pilgrims. Let me say a couple of things about Imaratul Hajj. Who is the Imaratul Hajj? Emirul Hajj is the person or the office who is guiding the pilgrims during the journey on their way back and forth, and it also makes sure that the Hajj is done according to rules and procedures, and these people are authorized by the head of states. They should have some important characteristics so that they can make sure the Hajj worship is done accordingly. There are some ahkam sultaniye, and they have some conditions in the executive characteristics. For instance, they have the trustworthy, they have experience, they have good memory, sharp mind, having responsibility, being away from being injustice, and being far from greedy. So there are such characteristics required to be the Emirul Hajj, and to be someone who has a strong opinions which is listened by the society, who has long-lasting vision, and they are also supposed to have the certain virtues in the area of management as well. And it's about they are also appointed and they are also released from their duty by the head of states, and khalifas are in charge of appointing or releasing them from their duties. The first one is Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anh, and he has been appointed by the Prophet, peace be upon him. And Rasulullah, in the last Hajj, he was personally in charge of being the Imaratul Hajj, and in the Khulafa Rashid, the Khalifas themselves were in charge of being the Emirul Hajj. And when they were not able to do that, in order to provide any management gap, they were sending some people who are equally qualified to do this job. And this tradition continued later on. And there is an issue with which I would like to attract your attention. If the Emirul Hajj has been appointed for a year, the duration of that task is 4 years. But sometimes Emirul Hajj, the Hajj are appointed with no deadline. Until a new Emirul Hajj is appointed, that duty will continue. So let's have a look at the duties of Emirul Hajj. They can be considered under two headings: the political and administrative, and the religious tasks. Let's have a look at political and administrative tasks, such as the travel, security, conflict resolution, punishing the criminals, and providing water and food. So these are 5 important tasks. And let's have a look at the religious tasks, which can be divided into 2 groups again, the ones in Mecca and the ones in Medina. Under travel tasks, it's about organizing the dispersion of pilgrims and to identify the accommodation points, and also to prevent their properties and lives to be damaged. And before they set off their journey, the Emirul Hajj makes sure that the passages and the routes are safe, and certain research has to be done by the Emirul Hajj, and maybe some intelligence needs to be collected, so necessary measures should be taken into place. And also the orderly of the caravan, the group of pilgrims should also be maintained, and their organized movement has to be done as well. Therefore, the Emirul Hajj is also determining where they will be accommodating, to whom they will be affiliated to do in terms of their orderly dispersal in Hajj. And the Emirul Hajj is so supposed to behave with affection to pilgrims. It's a widespread, maybe it's a quite a wide concept that they should be he should be the company for Hajj. They should be taking attention to paying attention to their needs. The Emirul Hajj are not supposed to be that rigid or strict people who would put more problems on the shoulders of pilgrims. Those who do not have tickets, those who are ill, they left behind in the group of pilgrims, they are remounting to their rights or being supported by other pilgrims are all among the duties of Emirul Hajj. Especially if they have been deceased during their pilgrimage, either poor or sick, then they had to be taken into, they should be handled by the Emirul Hajj as well. If one of the pilgrim has to return due to a legitimate reason, and again, Emirul Hajj is supposed to help that individuals as well. The fourth heading is about searching some wide roads. So it is also Emirul Hajj's duty to make sure that the access roads are wide and easy to travel. Some narrow or dangerous roads has to be avoided, and his task is to warn the pilgrims. Also, the Emirul Hajj should select the right time, because the group of pilgrims, when they are spending, they have to make it on time on Arafat so that they can perform their waqfas, and there should be enough time. Therefore, starting from the beginning of Hajj, the Emirul Hajj should make a very good planning. And also, the group of pilgrims should not be forced to walk too fast. Otherwise, this will create more serious problems in the forthcoming days of Hajj. The sixth heading is being careful about the timing and the organization of Salah. So the pilgrims should make sure that they make it on time to their Salah. If maybe an appointment of a person is necessary, so they can be, the pilgrims can be warned about the times of Salah. If there are some people who are coming from a military background, maybe a special imam can be appointed. That would be good for them. And this will be a administrative assistance to Emirul Hajj. The other topic is about security. During the accommodation and travel, it is essential to provide safety and security for pilgrims. If they are accommodating a certain place, their safety should be ensured. And before they arrive in a new territory, that again some pioneers should be sent to make sure that there are no bandits. If there are some thieves or other groups, they have to be eliminated before pilgrims arrive. The barriers on the travel should be removed. Anything which will avoid them to reach the target should be prevented. If Emirul Hajj has power to do that, he can do that by actual fighting, or they can pay for it. They can pay to enable the safety on the road, and if there will be some fees to be collected by the pilgrims, it should be with the consent of the pilgrims themselves. The Emirul Hajj cannot impose them to pay a security fee. Also, on different roads on the different stops on the route to Hajj, there should be some security points as well. Under that heading, we can talk about the conditions in which the groups of pilgrims are attacked. On their way back, especially, they are carrying some spice, gifts, and everything, and they are vulnerable to attacks. The third heading was about conflict resolution. They are also playing an intermediary role for mediation. They should make peace And if they're entering a new or a different territory, the Emirul Hajj and the administrative of that new territory has some duties to create that mediation. If there's a conflict, then the Emirul, not the Emirul Hajj, but the local authority in that part has some duties to protect the order. The second issue is not using interpreter. So the Emirul Hajj should speak the language of the group that he is in charge of. So as much as possible, that people should not be using interpreters. There are two aspects, because maybe there are some problems and interpreters may not send the message across accurately, and due to interpreters, if any betrayal or a mistake is being made, so they can end up in a undesired position. So that will create a security breach. So as much as possible, interpreters should not be used. Also, there's another task about punishing the criminals. Just like in any community, among the pilgrims, there can be some criminals, and this punishment should be proportional. And if Emirul Hajj is specifically authorized to implement, execute heavy punishment, they can do that as well. Also, Emirul Hajj some duties with regard to water and food. As you can imagine, pilgrims may not have enough food or water supply with them on their way. Therefore, the Emirul Hajj should make sure how to replenish, how to have additional food and water when it's finished with the group. Maybe the feed for animals can be finished on the way, so maybe some pioneers should be sent to search for this feed or food for the group. They also have some duties on Mecca as well. Emirul Hajj is appointed for 7 days, the 7th and the 13th day of Hijjah month. There are 5 conditions on Emirul Hajj, and the 6th one is open to debate. The first 5 ones are: they have to appoint, they have to inform the pilgrims in the accurate time that they should wear their ihrams, and also to organize the pilgrims so they can perform their duties in a proper fashion, and to make sure about the different rituals within Hajj. And also, they're also supposed to be the imam for pilgrims when they are assembled for Waqfeh. The 6th provision, which is open discussion, is about enforcing some punishments when they are in conflict. The Emirul Hajj is sometimes in the judging position, or if someone is paying ransom, they have to be notified. The main practice here is that if this deed is under the authority of the if it is something relevant with the Hajj duty, then it is under the responsibility of Emirul Hajj. But if it is not, it is beyond his capacity. Emirul Hajj cannot force the pilgrims to perform their duties according to his sect. Everyone is free to perform his Hajj duty according to their own sect. Emirul Hajj has some duties with regard to ihram as well. Miqat is the part that locations, the Miqat locations are the part, it's a position that they have to wear their ihrams, and they should start worshipping duties. And Emirul Hajj should give enough time for pilgrims so they can wear their ihrams, they can continue certain prayers, and that's one of the main tasks of Emirul Hajj. Also, Emirul Hajj has some duties with regard to Arafat, Muzdalifah, and Mina. If there is not enough time when they enter Arafat, they can directly go there in order not to miss the accurate timing. But if there is enough time, they can go to Mecca, they can perform Umrah, and together with the people in Mecca, they will be able to reach Arafat in a rested manner, after they have rest. When they reach Arafat, Emrul Hajj deliver hutbah on Nevira Masjid, and after the afternoon and evening prayers, the salah has been also performed under his imamhood, and the day before Eid and until the first day of the Eid of sacrifice, there is a certain duration, and the Emir al-Hajj should be there during that time. After Arafat Waqfa, after the prayers and after the sunset, then they go to Muzdalifah. After the prayers in Muzdalifah, you spend the night there. The group set off for Mina. And the first day, the Aqaba devil is stoned, and those who bring their sacrifice animals, they just perform their sacrifices, and this is how the duties have been completed. You are going so well, very valuable information, but you have 1-2 minutes last. Okay, I will do that. After the sacrifice, then the shaving has been done, then the visit tawaf, the circumambulation is performed, and another khutbah is delivered. And in the other days, again stoning the devil in Mina, the delivery of other khutbah. So after those rituals have been completed, again in the last day, the stone has been developed again, and they turn back to Mecca. The Emir al-Hajj has some duties with regard to be the imam and to be the preacher. During that 7 days in Mecca, Emir al-Hajj is supposed to lead the group in the Salah and also deliver some khutbah, 2 khutbahs in Imamet and Mina. And the third and fourth ones are in the ones in Mina. After the completion of all these tasks, the duties in Mecca is finished. Certain time is given to pilgrims so they can prepare buying presents and other stuff, and then they set for Medina. And in Medina, they visit the tomb of Prophet, peace be upon him, and other important locations are visited. And again, a certain time is allocated. Pilgrims do their other preparation, and they get ready for way home. The task of the Emir al-Hajj is finished when they go back home. After that, there is no tasks for the Emir al-Hajj. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks a lot. It requires very much endeavor to prepare such a presentation.